Parshas Naso is the longest parsha in the Torah. It's got 176 verses. I always felt a bit bad for a bar mitzvah boy who had to learn Parshas Naso, but the truth is, there's actually a lot of repetition. The end of the parsha contains various offerings brought by the Nesiim of each tribe on the consecutive days in honor of the dedication of the Mishkan. There are very slight variations in the Pesukim, mainly for the first two Nesiim. The Torah tells us the exact offering and repeats word for word, verbatim, what each Nasi brought. It's well known that the Torah doesn't waste letters, much less unnecessarily words. How can we understand the apparent redundancy of repeating and repeating what each Nasi brought, each tribe brought? Tzvi Hirsch Weinreb, the editor-in-chief of the Koren Talmud Bavli, explains that although the gifts were identical, the thoughts and emotions behind each gift differed from prince to prince. Each had a different kavanah, a distinct unspoken meaning to his gifts, and the meaning that he had was based upon the unique nature of each prince and the tribe he represented. The gifts were all the same, it looked the same on the outside, but the underlying intentions were different, and the Mefarshim elaborate on the intentions and the meaning of the gifts behind the Nesiim. The Torah lists them separately because they were different. Each one of them brought their gifts with different intentions. None of them imitated someone else, and we can learn from that although two people might do some similar action, that it might appear to be the same, each person may be driven by his own perspective and approach. And if a person takes the time to look below the surface, it might be possible to see people's different motivations. The first prince to offer up a korban was Nachshon ben Aminadab from the tribe of Yehudah. According to one opinion, he was the first person who went into the Yam Suf. And the Midrash in Bamidbar Rabbah Yud Gimel Zayin asks, Lama Nikra Shemo Nachshon, why was his name Nachshon? And the Midrash answers, Al Shem She Yorad Techila Le Nachshol Shebayam. It's a play on Nachshon's name. Why was his name Nachshon? Because it's similar to the word Nachshol, because he went down Le Nachshol to the surf in the water by the Yam Suf. Therefore, he merited to be the first Nasi to offer up a korban. In Bamidbar, Perek Zayin, Posuk Yud Ches, we read, by Yom Hasheni, Hikriv Netanel ben Suah, Nasi Yisachar. The second prince to offer up a korban was Netanel ben Suah from the tribe of Yisachar. And the next Posuk says, Hikriv es korbono. It's very strange because for no other tribe does it use the word Hikriv es korbono. Rashi asks, why is the word Hikriv used in connection with Yisachar but not with the other tribes? And he answers, because Reuven came forward and complained, I am the oldest son of Yaakov. Is it not bad enough that Yehudah went first? Let me at least be the second person to offer up the korban. But Moshe said, I'm sorry, the Nesiim have to offer up the korbanos in the order in which they travelled. And that is why the word Hikriv es korbono is written with Hey Kuf Resh Ves, and it's missing a Yud, making it possible, if you use different vowels, to change the word Hikriv to Hakrev, because that is the imperative. Netanel ben Suah was commanded by Hashem with the imperative. It was a command. Bring the offering, you go second. The Midrash Aggadah in Bamidbar, Zayin Yud Ches, expounds the name of Nesanel ben Suah. His name was Nesanel because his name sounds like the word Nosan, Nasan-el. Shehu Nosan ha'etzeh shehikrivu ha'nesim ma shehikrivu. Because the idea of what exactly each prince brought was from Nesanel ben Suah. It was his idea. Lakach nikra shemo Nesanel, al shem shenosan etza l'shavotim lahakriv. It was Nesanel's idea to bring these specific offerings. He was the second Nasi, and he followed what Nachshon brought. But he was faced with a dilemma. He thought to himself, I could bring what Nachshon brought, or I could bring one thing better. But he didn't do that. He decided, I'm not going to start making the situation where each Nasi is going to try and outdo the Nasi before. which would lead to a spiral of escalating sacrifices, escalating costs. Imagine what the Nossi on day 12 would have to bring. Netanel ben Suah did a tremendous thing. He brought exactly the same offering as Nachshon ben Aminadab did. And he set the tone, and everyone brought the same. Imagine if you were making a party and your friend was making a party the following day, and they thought, oh, I like the ideas that you did, but the following day they think, well, how am I going to make my party even bigger and better than the person who made the party the day before me? Netanel ben Suah said, no, we're not going to get involved in any of this one-upmanship. It looks like there's a redundancy because every Nossi's korban is repeated. Every detail is repeated. But we learn two things. First of all, that two people doing the same actions don't always have the same intentions. And we can also learn from the courage of Netanel ben Suah not to try and outdo other people. He teaches us that not only do we not need to try and keep up with the Joneses, we certainly don't want to get involved in one-upmanship. Good Shabbos.